How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. Today, among other things, I want to talk about the fact that Black people care about crime way more than some folks in the media allows you to believe. Good morning to you. That's just the tip of the iceberg. We got many things going on, including a guest from a local Black woman. And when I say local, I mean as in Cincinnati. She's doing something really interesting, a really new project, or a really interesting new project down in the over the Rhine. Not sure if people remember the Regal Theater. I remember the Regal Theater because, as I said, I've lived in a lot of neighborhoods here in the city of Cincinnati, including down in the OTR. Like my earliest memories when I was a child was just me and my mom living down in the on the Land Street projects. And the first movies I ever saw, I saw at the Regal Theater. First movies I ever saw, I remember seeing at the Regal Theater. I saw Star Wars at the Regal Theater when I was a kid, long time ago, man. Long time ago. But good morning to you. But now someone has taken that property and they're doing something really interesting with it. And we'll talk with the Black woman behind it coming up this morning at about 8:30 a.m. approximately. So in about 90 minutes or so. Now, you know me, I always come bearing many rhetorical gifts. All right. I like to put a lot of things on the table every single morning for us to discuss. And you should expect nothing different this morning. So a lot of things to talk about. Some may be on your radar screen. Some may not be on your radar screen. You know, you might hit a topic this morning. You like, what? Now, shout out to Tony in Singapore. I got a message from Tony in Singapore. And he said that, he just said, greetings from Singapore. So checking in. We're global. We're global. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Please take a couple of minutes. This show is completely free and will always be that way. We don't charge anybody to get access to this good cooking. Some of mama's cooking. It's all free. Take all these flows and do what you want to. All right. But the only thing I do ask is that you share it in as many places online. So like if you have Facebook groups that you're in that I may not be aware of, probably not aware of, or pages where you think that people will be into this kind of content, please go ahead and hit me with a share. And the reason why is because sharing is caring. Sharing is caring unless you're sharing STDs, and then that's not caring. But sharing is caring. And when you share the show, quite frankly, more people see it. It's real simple. I mean, this is not rocket science whatsoever, folks. You know how social media works. You know how social media works, but there's a lot of stuff going on. And then for people who are into like the DC Marvel comic books, a whole lot of cool trailers out there, which I've just kind of been sitting on, haven't got a chance to really talk about, but you know me, and I'll say it once again. This show will never just be about politics. This show is about people, politics, and pleasure in that order. And they're all very closely associated. But in my nature, I'm a people watcher. Hands up if you're a people watcher. I fully admit it. I like to watch people. Human beings are the most entertaining creatures on God's green earth. So entertaining. And you can learn so much from observing and watching human beings. So I am a student of human beings. In fact, I love us, all of us. All of us. I love us all. But especially I love Black people. You already know. You already know. So good morning to you. So good morning. So just want to come to you before the show gets started, kind of let you get a sense, let you get an insight as to what we'll be talking about. We'll talk about humans worth in COVID And in particular, when we talk about that, we're talking about a case coming out of Chicago where 5 gang members have now been arrested, alleged with murder. And when I tell you the details of the crime, you won't believe it. It's like something straight out of a movie or a video game. Like we talked about that movie, that video game that's out, just came, well, it'll be out in December, that we talked about last week. So a lot of stuff to discuss this morning. Plus, I want to hip you to what's going on here locally, as in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. And beyond. What's up, early riser? What's up? How long you been up? Since 4:35, getting it in? I appreciate you, man. You setting the foundation for a successful life. So we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Please share, and share today's show. It means everything. And we'll get started. Don't go anywhere.
NationIvy.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised arms, close fists, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the tent plates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of drippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Everybody, how are you? Where my people at? Good morning. Shout out to Jono and Tunes, the dopest intro music I've seen and heard. Shall say I've heard in a long time. Shout out, brothers. Appreciate you. Team NI where my people at. Good morning to you. Cincinnati has so many great creators, man. Just an applause to all the Cincinnati-based creatives out there, man. Good morning. It's a creator economy out here. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. I hope I'm presentable. Oh, there it is. There we are. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well, family. Same old. Nothing's changed so far. It's just same old. I kind of like this viewpoint. It's got some qualities in it that I like. So I'm going to keep this for a minute, or I may change it tomorrow. You never know. Good morning to you. Good morning. Who, can you read that? Yeah, that's the real Superman right there. That's right. It's all about that. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Good morning. Good morning. Get Auntie Donna on here. Okay. Oh, okay. That's Auntie Donna. Okay. Cool. I didn't know that. What's up, Tony? What up? You gotta be what am I doing from Singapore? I'm doing the show, Tony. That's what I'm doing, man. I thought you knew that. Good morning to you. Where the hell is Singapore exactly? Oh, okay. There it is. Good morning. There's a very interesting article about a big community meetings that happened just yesterday in Evanston, Evanston's neighborhood committee. You also had members of the Cincinnati Police Department. They gathered to discuss solutions to a spike in violent crime after there were 2 deadly shootings in Evanston last week. And I was not there, but from what I'm reading and what I've gathered from other sources, there were a lot of folks there, Black people in the house. And I just really want to make this point as we kick off that nobody cares about crime in this city more than the people that are that the crime is happening in those neighborhoods. Nobody cares more. So if there's a shooting in Walnut Hills, nobody cares more about it than the people in Walnut Hills. If there's a shooting on the west side, nobody cares more than the people that are closest to that scenario. So I just hate it when I hear people try to shout down a conversation and try to throw some shade on Black folks. They'll say things like, well, when a police officer shoots somebody, everybody wants to tear things up. They want to get upset. But when a black person kills another black person, you don't hear anything. It's the stupidest damn thing. I said that way to lampoon it, because they sound like clowns. Nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. And what you're doing is you're disrespecting all of the energy that people that are on the ground and people that are close to the situation are putting into it. So I want to make sure we just reiterate. I can't say it enough to dispel those kind of myths. And then you'll have some good little Negroes that'll run around to, different radio stations that'll try to reinforce it. And they try to do it by doing this. Well, we need people to come forward and work with the police. And so it creates this whole mentality that black folks are somehow either complicit in the gun violence. Like, we love the gun violence. We love to see people look like us dead on the streets. Like, we just love that. Or either complicit in either involved in complicitly or implicitly involved, because we don't say nothing, which again I don't believe as well. I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I bet you if you looked at the racial demographics, what the hell is this on this microphone? I bet if you looked at the racial demographics of who's calling Crime Stoppers, it's probably a majority black folks, especially with the gun violence. You know why? Because it's where they live. That's why. It's real simple. I guess the good white folks in Indian Hills care more about gun violence in Evanston than the people that live in Evanston. Oh, the good white folks from Marymount and in Hyde Park, they care more about the gun violence. And I'm not to say they don't care, but you don't care as much as the people that actually live in those neighborhoods. I hopefully won't have to keep having this conversation, but something tells me we will. Something tells me we will. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. Cleopatra Jones writes, I would like to know who said black folks don't care about gun violence. I want to know where they got the information from. I've had people call to the show and say this. I've listened to and people have told me, like, some of the conversations that are taking place sort of down the dial here in Cincinnati, where you have black folks who call and it's like, nobody says anything. They want to reinforce these negative mantras, not even mine, these negative ideas about us, which of course could not be further from the truth. But what I did like about this article is, hey, one of our faves. Now, we talked a lot about, she's now Captain Danita Pettis. Remember Captain Danita Pettis? Mia Reynolds. Remember that? I wonder if she knows about that. Captain Danita Pettis. Mia Reynolds be the first ones through the door. Remember that? That was some of the funniest shit ever, boy. God, forgive me. Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery. I'm trying to be better. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better. Trust me. Trust me. That was some of the funniest ish that I've heard in a long, long time. Yeah, apparently Captain Danita Pettis, who was a black female, and I heard sis don't play no games. I mean, I like that, and heard great things about it. Matter of fact, I think she might have been on the show a couple times over the years. For whatever reason, I can't remember. But I believe we've heard her voice here, and I'm not sure when this was. It goes back a few years ago. I'm gonna tell a funny story to me anyway, and some of the choppers, and she was being harassed. It was some BS going on because people can't stand black excellence, especially when it's in black female form. And she was dealing with a whole bunch of nonsense with some of her colleagues on the CPD, that's the same police department. And she was addressing the staff, and she was heated too because I think BS was coming out and people was whispering. And she called one of her white female colleagues out and said, look, I know you're recording this. We'll record all of this. Remember this? It was hilarious, man. Oh, my God. It was so funny. And then she lit into this woman in front of everybody. At least you can hear the audio. And she told her, she was like, well, how dare you sit here when the emergency calls come in? And where you at? I'm at my desk. I'm in my post. She was like, right here behind the phone, all safe. Me and Reynolds be the first ones through the door. I thought there's always a Reynolds, man. Always in audible. It seems like there's always a Reynolds, right? That's first through the door. That was hilarious. But anyway, she was at this meeting and she said that basically, and we've been talking about this, she said that the Cincinnati police are trying to get to the bottom of where the guns are coming from. Quote, we're seeing a situation where the juveniles are having high power weapons, which is unique. That's not something that we've ever experienced before. So she said high power weapons. So it just begs the question. So where are these high powered? And what's a high powered weapon? Again, I'm not skilled enough to be able to speak articulately, to speak with any intelligence on that particular issue. Maybe some folks out there can help me with that. Very interesting. And quote, part of our investigation is going to get to the bottom of how these kids are getting these guns in their hands. So um I even see that the owner of Cream and Sugar Coffee House, shout out to Cream and Sugar Coffee House. They do great work. I've been over there a couple times. I believe it's black owned. I always feel good when I walk in there. Let me see. The wifey loves it. They've got I think it's pumpkin bread. I think it is. She loves it. She swears by it. She be picking up. She got a pumpkin. See now, actually, since I'm talking about your cream and sugar, you didn't give the wifey a pumpkin bread addiction. Now she all strung out on pumpkin bread for 2 weeks. That's all I heard about was pumpkin bread. I'm like, I'm sure it's good, right? I've tasted it. I'm sure it's good. But I just want to make that point real quick before we move on to other matters and then open the conversation. If you have any thoughts on that particular issue, 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. Also want to remind you, check out the Melanin Insights podcast with Britt and Cass on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. All right, two sisters. You can delve into the minds of Black women, and we stream live here on Facebook. So make sure you check them out. Go ahead and hit the see if you're on the feed right now, just hit the subscribe button to the video feed, and then when any podcast goes live, you can check it out for yourself. Speaking of live, brother Christian Boykin was live last night and keeping the conversation going about Dave Chappelle. He was asking, was Dave Chappelle right? And I know we touched upon that a little bit. So again, just scroll down on Facebook and you can check out his podcast from last night, and you can follow him back to his YouTube channel and to his page as well. And give him some credit. I love the way the stream looks when he does what he does, and the conversations. These are local voices, live, local, and vocal. Brandy writes, greetings. Good morning to you, Brandy. How are you? Hope you're doing well. As always. Anthony writes, morning, Chop Shop. Good morning to you, Anthony. Brenda writes, happy Tuesday. Good morning to you. Good morning. Anthony's in the house, writes, like and share family. Naisha writes, morning, family. Morning to you, Naisha. Always good to see you. Yo writes, good morning, everybody. Okay, I ain't even see you, Christian. Christian writes, I saw Malcolm X there. Did you? Okay. I ain't even see you, brother. Shouting you out. Great work as always. And we got to connect. I know it's more on my side than your side. You said you saw Malcolm X there? I had already moved before Malcolm X came out, but I saw my first movies ever there. I think the first movie I can remember seeing, and it probably wasn't the first one, because when you're a single mother, when you're a single parent, you drag your kids to stuff because you don't got a babysitter. So I'm sure she dragged me to a movie. I did see my first nudity there. This is the Regal Theater will always have a soft space in my libido, always. The first time I seen anything, me and Jamie Lee Curtis got a little more comfortable after watching Trading Places. I saw Trading Places there. I was like, and my mom didn't move fast enough to put her hands over my eyes. I was like, ooh, that's how it starts. It's a true story, by the way. Cleopatra Jones writes, Grand Rising's name the Choppers. Hold on, let me make sure I get everything I need to my guest this morning, because I want to make sure that she has all of the links that she needs to join our show this morning. Toylan O'Neill is who I'm talking about. And I think this is a dope project, man. When I heard about it, I reached out to her some time ago. I know they had like an event as they're raising funds and things, but I don't know all the details, but from what I've read on flyers and things like that and saw some videos, I love the idea. I think it's a super dope idea. Some more of that Black excellence, man. People thinking ahead, thinking around the corner. I absolutely love it. And I think it's, if her dream, not even dream, her plan, when it becomes realized, when it comes to fruition, I think it's going to be a really super cool asset for the people down there over the Rhine. Super. Now, once we do that, all they need to do now is to recover the driveway. Is the Richie's Chicken still down there? It's been a minute since I've driven down that. Is Richie's Chicken still down there? I know there was some conversation about what was going to be. It's like the lot right over. Is anybody driven down on Lynn Street down there recently? I don't know. But it is still there. I wonder if they've repaved that driveway. It was the worst driveway in Cincinnati. There's no business with a driveway like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't want to drive in that, and you're trying to get you some chicken. You know what I'm saying? It's like a moat. It's like a hazard. You don't want to go through that hazard. It's almost like it's a property in Norwood. Norwood has the worst streets in Cincinnati. Oh my gosh. It's like, when do we get attacked by the aliens? Craters everywhere. Not a good look. Janice writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Cleopatra Jones writes, Grand Risings, Nathan Ivy and the Choppers. Good morning to you.
Get to the chopper!
Nikki is in the house. She writes, good morning, everyone. Tanika writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Yo is in the house. Yo. Deborah writes, good morning, Nathan and Ivy. Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Brandy's in the house. Everybody looking so spectacular. I love it. What's up, Nikki? What's up? Don't start LOL. I won't get started. I'll stir the pot a little bit later. And show we got some topics. I can stir it up and make it real spicy. But again, coming up at 8:30 a.m., I'm looking forward to this. Because again, I think it'll be really interesting, and a real asset for the city in general, but over the Rhine. Cleopatra Jones writes, I would like to know who said black folk. I think I read that already. TNT's in the house. She writes, good morning. He writes, they've been up since the echo chamber last night. That's right. Absolutely. Check it out. And then make sure you check him out on YouTube as well. And you can find him on his personal page. Follow that brother. Regina writes, good Tuesday morning. Let's get it. Absolutely. Brenda writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Brenda. Sarah writes, who said that we don't care about gun violence? Angela writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Good morning to you. You like the sweatshirt? Yeah, the wifey got it for me. This is not one of my own creations, but the wifey got it for me. And, I like it. Matter of fact, we got some for the whole family. We're going to take a family picture with them. Sarah writes, you can't compare the two scenarios. Susan writes, happy Tuesday. Tuesday, I like that. Oh, okay. Sister Iris is in the house. Good morning to you, Sister Iris. She writes, good morning, great people. Sarah writes, caring as opposed to feeling helpless. Well, we're not helpless. Angela writes, we care. We're tired of watching our youth and our people dying, right? Nat writes, where's Reynolds? Right. Nat remembers. Me and Reynolds be the first ones through the door. You sitting here eating bologna sandwiches behind the desk, all safe. Me and Reynolds out here responding. You got the nerve to talk about me? Oh my gosh, she ran her down and straight Cardi B ran down on her twice. She ran down on her. I'm talking about now Captain Danita Pettis. I mean, she just keeps rising. What's next? Is it Chief Danita Pettis? Is that what's next? I don't know this personally, but I've just heard nothing negative about her. In fact, everything I've heard about her is like some straight black excellence type ish. So can't never be upset with that. It's just every time it's like, she just keeps rising. That's a beautiful thing. We need good people to be on the Cincinnati police force. Not to say we don't have good people there, because I know we do for a fact. I'm just saying we need as many as possible. And we need people that look like us to get into the policing, be going to law enforcement, be tough now. There ain't nobody asking you to be a pushover. Enforce the law. But, bring some damn humanity to the job. Bring humanity to the job. Bring compassion to the job. I mean, crack heads when you got to crack heads now. Ain't nobody going to say nothing. You got to do what you got to do. But bring, some give a damn to what you do. And there's a lot of people that do it, of course. Anthony writes, would be a good question to ask Chief Isaac. Exactly how are they arresting the perpetrators of gun violence? Be by good old ground pounding investigation or from community tips, or both? I would imagine it's from both. That's just me, though. I don't know. People out there way more insight than I do. Good morning to you. Let me ask you a question. Like, how do you think that people, I keep hearing mixed things. Like, I keep hearing that some people believe that people are not really into the election. I don't know if that's true or not. Talking about the local election, and in particular the mayor's race. I know they're going to have a mayoral forum today. I'm going to try to go to it because I want to hear some of the questions that are asked. You know what I'm saying? I'm very, very interested in all of that. But I'm just wondering, I mean, I just thought I would just see more. Like I'm seeing more and more yard signs now. Here we are 2 weeks out, but I thought I would see more and more and more. And I don't know, maybe it's because, there's a lot of candidates that just don't have the money to project their message in their faces and whatever their names, either it be on the side of the road or when you get online or when you turn on your radio or turn on your TV. I guess that's what it is. Maybe it comes down to funding, but I just thought I would see more. Thought I would see more, but that's just me. Sister Iris writes, I've attended many community walks, marches, forums addressing violence. Hell, just had a meeting on Sunday. We will be meeting every Sunday to build out our deals to interrupt violence. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just want to make this point, because I've heard this critique of the Black community over the years many times. People have called into this show and said that dumb ish. And it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I just can't stand for it. Right. And it works against our efforts to try to build a better city, in my humble opinion. I mean, I don't have to be right, but that's just my opinion about it. What do you think? So where are the guns coming from? That's a good question. I say it's for the people in law enforcement to figure it out. Brian writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Iris writes, we asked the chief and top brass where the guns are coming from. And what did they say? Kevin writes, cream and sugar coffee house is Black owned. My daughter has a pic she did with artworks on the wall. Is that right? Yeah, I like the space over there. I like it. Like I said, my wife has a little pumpkin bread. I'm playing with the word addiction, but she's got like a little she's binging on pumpkin bread right now. Apparently it's top flight. I'm like, Black people eat pumpkin bread? I guess so. I don't remember if I've ever had anything or not. I don't know. But she loves it though. And I've been over there before to meet some folks, and it's a good spot. Yo writes, unfortunately, Nate, you can purchase firearms on arms lists all day. It's pretty sad that people don't even ask for identification. It's pretty dangerous. It's pretty dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous. I'm not against gun ownership. I'm pro gun ownership. I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm pro gun ownership. I'm pro CCW. I'm pro making sure the rights and how to have your gun legally if you want to do so. And I'm pro going to the gun range on a regular basis. Absolutely. Tanika writes, yes, my girl Karen Kennebrew is part owner of Cream and Sugar. They are awesome and Black owned. Well, shit, there's two things I like to hear: awesome and Black owned. That's a really interesting spot they're on right there too, right? I think it's a good spot because you can quickly jump on the Interstate Highway 71 either way. Like 71 South is right there. So I'm with it. Anthony writes, long rifles, pistols with high capacity magazines, which Intel use Uzis, AR-15s, and AR-47s. Nate, okay, Anthony, thank you. Damn, Anthony's on top. Hey, Kevin, I said I missed your call, bro, but I'll reach out to you via text today and I'll set it up. That's all on me. Kevin writes, good morning, choppers. Oh, today is a great day to do great things. Let's get the bag. Okay. I'm down with that. Oh, sounds great. Jenny writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Jenny. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I saw something that was so weird to me. And I'm like, is this a gag? Let me see if I can show this to you. Right. It's off our topic a little bit, but hold on one second. Respond to a text. It's a little bit off. It's a total departure from talking about local gun violence, but I want to share this with you. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, here it is. This was so weird. I'm like, is this a thing now? Is this what people are doing? Is this like real? Why would I ever need to do this? Look at this. Why would I ever need to do this? Can you see that? I don't think you can. So hold on one second here. And I purposely want to do this live on the air with you. Purposely. I could have did this earlier. Been up for a while, but I want to do it right now. But let me send this to you. This is some gender bending type stuff. And I'm like, is this the thing now? Like, Is this what like responsible fathers are doing these days? I don't know. I never did this. I never even thought about doing this. And I'm like, why would I ever do this when I have a wife? Like, I don't, would this confuse a child or something? I don't know. Could be. Bless you, black woman. Wifey sneezing, probably off mic. What'd you say, love? How you feeling this morning? I know you haven't been feeling well. You got allergies. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Something's on your face. Yeah, go tell your mother. She'll get you together. Pardon me. Pardon me. Hold on one second here. I like to do it like this. It's just me. It's 21st century. So I want you to. Okay, did I? What the hell was I sending this? Where did I send this? Somebody might have just got two messages from me, and if you did, just disregard them. I'm not even sure where I just sent that. Okay, send that. Yeah, this is weird. I'm like, this must just be like some made up stuff. I can't believe this is real. Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long for it to come down, but it is. Okay, so I'm waiting for something to hit my system, and when it does, I'll show it to you. But it's the weirdest thing ever. Maybe you can see this. Yeah, I was on Instagram scrolling, and I said, look at that. That is a man, and he's got like artificial breasts, right? And he puts the milk inside of them, and then he feeds his baby. And I'm like, what in the hell? I ain't never seen no shit like that before. Is that a real thing? Because on Instagram, you never know whether these things are true or not. Sometimes people just having fun. It's hard to tell, like when you're scrolling past at the speed of scrolling. So it's hard to tell, right? And I'm like, what? I mean, I have two children with my wife. I ain't never thought about doing nothing like this. Like, why don't we just get a bottle? Like, is this like they've done some new research or something and they feel like this is the best? You see that now? That's a man right there. And that's like a t-shirt where the areolas are out and you can put in like the fake nipple, but the nipple is really like, the nipple for a bottle and you can feed your child that way. And I'm like, why whatever happened to good old fashioned like this? Ain't that shit good enough? That's going to have to be good enough for me. I just don't see why I would do that. I'm not the woman. I'm not mom. That's mom's job right there. Deborah writes, I saw that breastfeeding contraption. It's a real thing. So can somebody give me, I'm trying to understand this, right? This don't have to be the biggest topic in the world, but this is something that's, I just set aside a few weeks ago and I'm like, now's a good time. But I'm like, what would be the purpose in that? I don't understand it. I don't understand what the purpose is. Sarah writes, Allercatin for allergies, all natural tablets. Look it up on Amazon. Thank me later. Okay. Hold on. Let me make sure I can remember this, man. Yeah, because anything that's all natural, that's what I'm all about. Appreciate that. Jenny writes, that's creepy and weird, Nate. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. I'm like, we taking this whole parody thing a little too far. I don't want that kind of parody. Now, in terms of, responsibility and leadership and pay should be across the board equal. But I don't need to do all of that. I don't need to do that. I mean, I'm trying to think like maybe you got a situation where let's say mother gives birth and then mother dies, right? The baby's very, very young. Is that the scenario? Because like you want to recreate that, but I'm like, no, I think it would be better if a woman put that on, right? Even if she isn't, is it called lactating? I don't know. Even if she doesn't have milk or whatever, because she's a woman, and I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I ain't doing that. Now, of course, I got the snip, so I don't have to ever worry about that again. But I just, nah. Good old fashioned baby bottle will do for me. You know what I'm saying? That's good enough for me. I'm sorry. I guess that makes me Neanderthal or something, right? Susan writes, simply men seeking an opportunity to simulate the bonding experience that breastfeeding provides. Simulating the bonding experience that breastfeeding, but that bonding experience is not for men. That bonding experience by nature, by natural whatever, is between a woman and a child. Just because I put on, you know, this contraption right here. Here's what we're talking about. Just because I put this contraption on, though, Susan, that doesn't mean that I'm able to bond. And it's just some bonding I just don't think I need to do. Okay, if that's what it is, and that's what people are doing, then God bless you. I don't need to bond like that. You know what I'm saying? We can bond in some other ways. I don't need to don't just get this milk, man. Get this nourishment so you can grow and get out these damn diapers, and I can save some money and teach and toilet train you. That's what I'm worried about. You know what I'm saying? It's just some bonding. Everything. See, you know what it is? You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is soon. It's the arrogance of humans. It's the arrogance of human beings. We didn't learn how to create plastic, and we can put satellites on the moon and in orbit, and we can split the atom and create devastating effects. So now we think we can do everything. You can't do everything. There are some things that are just for a man. Period. It's just for us, ladies. It's just some roles, some things. It's just for us. And I don't give a damn what science allows you to do. You can't recreate it. And similarly, there's just some things that's just for women. It's just some things just for women. And that's it. And I could never, even if I had that contraption on, which I wouldn't do because I just don't like the way it would feel. It just seems, what my purpose here? Bottle. That's it. Get this milk. All right. Burp you. Come on in here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Daddy loves you. Have a great day. Okay. All right. I love you. All right. That's my son. Let me see. She writes, that's disgusting, period. Is that right? Disgusting. Okay. That's your opinion. Where in the hell did guess I guess the Lord does not want me to oh, okay. All right. I'm just seeing this, Jerica. If you're listening, I will respond. Just seeing it. I guess the Lord just doesn't want me to to show you these images on the screen, I guess, for whatever reason. I guess it is what it is. But coming up in just about 45 minutes, and I'm super excited to have her on because I want to hear more or as much as she wants to share with us about her project and her vision, and then what that might mean for the over the Rhine area and Cincinnati in particular. I keep saying it, I'll keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it, right? Even as we discuss our issues with the city as relates to equity, policy, and tangibles, we would be remiss on our duties to overlook all the good work on so many different levels that people are doing. Cincinnati is on the come up. I keep saying it. In 10 years, this city's going to have a whole new feel to it. Whole new feel on multiple levels. On multiple levels. Because I see it. I see the seeds have been planted and the seeds are being planted. And you can see it. And it may be early in those stages, but Cincinnati has the potential to be a city that is highly looked after and revered on multiple levels for the city in general and for Black folks in this city. We have a real opportunity over the next 20 years to do something amazing. I think it's going to happen. I'm optimistic like that. I think it's going to happen, and I just want to be a part of it, right? And help shepherd it in. But great things are happening in the city right now. Naisha writes, yep, super weird. Yeah. And I guess some people think this is kind of like, I guess I'm being this is an example of toxic masculinity. Okay, he wants me to show you the picture that he made for his kindergarten teacher. Hold on, get a look. Do you see that? Okay, I showed him, son. going to take that to school today and give it to one of his teachers. He's in the first grade, but he's going to give it to his kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Smith. Okay. All right. Make sure you ask your teacher before you do all of that. He's going to give it to his kindergarten teacher, his teacher from last year. She's under the weather right now, Mrs. Thomas. So, Mrs. Thomas, if you happen to get this message, we hope you feel much better. She was very good to our son, right? And he still talks about it. Now, you got a good teacher when he in this year talking about teachers from last year. So you already know how kids are. Kids are they're great. They know good people. Put it that way. Kids know good people. Good morning to you. Now, what y'all think about Evan Holt? Now, we had Evan Holt on the show yesterday, and he was near the end of the show. The brother is running for Cincinnati City Council. He said he got the endorsement of the Democratic Socialist Party, and he stopped short of really just saying I'm a socialist, even though you can kind of tell that's kind of like his style, which I don't hold that against him. I understand what that means. All right, bye, medium Buddha. It was kind of aggressive. Yeah, have a great day. Love you. Okay. Pick up us at 5. God damn, I'm nothing but a glorified chauffeur. I ain't even glorified. I'm just a chauffeur. Pick me up here, take me here, pay for my food, pay for my clothes, pay for my college. That's what we are. Just an ATM for her. And every once in a while, she needs a hug. That's it. I'm just an ATM, and every once in a while, she needs a hug. That's it. So back to Evan. What do you think about Evan? Do you think that he's ready for city council? He had an interesting story. But I want to get your thoughts. Your thoughts I'm more interested in your thoughts. And again, if you're asking me what I think about him, I'll put it to you this way. To me, there's 3 tiers of city council. The top tier, you got 6 or 7 people, and it's like, yeah, we need them on council, right? And then the middle tier, where the majority of people are, these are people who have all smart, intelligent, good people. Some of them have they have a range of backgrounds and experience: Black, white, Democrat, charter, independent, and it's hard to distinguish themselves, right? It's a little hard to distinguish themselves, and even inside that second tier, you got tiers inside of that, right? And then the very bottom tier, you got people who's kind of like, what are you doing? Where would you put Evan Holt in your personal tier system using the guidelines that I just gave you, right? If that makes sense. I'm just trying to keep the conversation going in a way that's useful. And I want to get your thoughts about, what you heard from Evan Holt yesterday. Had you heard of him before? Are you like, Are you like, yeah? Or are you like, man, I don't know. You tell me. I'm really interested in what you think, because we got to make a decision here. Got to make a decision. And it's going to be a big decision. It's going to be a huge decision as we try to figure out who's going to lead us. All right. 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I would love to hear them. Love to hear your thoughts this morning. So let me circle back around. There was a big meeting in Evanston yesterday. And from what I'm reading, people are saying the right things. They're focusing on the guns. There's a big conversation on how, juveniles are getting their hands on high-powered weapons. I mean, the reality is this. It's such a mixed bag. Like, the correct answer when it comes to gun violence is one that we already know. And I'm not going to bore you talking about it for a long time, because while it's a very important issue, it doesn't really have a lot of sizzle to it. And I understand that. But I think it needs to be said again for the billionth time. And, you heard this from the candidates. I'm going to mix it in with city council candidates and give you some flow on it. You heard it from the candidates themselves. Like, many of them, the vast majority of them, understand that there's 2 ways of looking at it, and they're both right. 1, it's multiple issues, and 2, you got to deal with the underlying issues of poverty. But you also got to deal with the Cincinnati public schools, because I think if we had a better public school system, the kind of public school system that was producing, a high percentage of people, and in particular black students, that were going on to be successful in college. I wonder if it would impact this. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's always going to be a level and an element of any kind of society that's just going to do what they want to do. They're going to choose a certain side no matter what. But, I wonder if our Cincinnati public schools were better performing, if we was to have any impact on that, because I just remember when I was a teenager, there was just certain things I wasn't going to. Now, some of this stuff starts at the home as well, and you can't legislate somebody's home. You know, some of this stuff starts with mom and dad, uncles and nephews, the kind of people you are, the kind of attitude you bring to the game, and the kind of love you bring into your family. A lot of that starts right there. And see, that's the part that we have in the politicians and the Cincinnati Police Department. They had no control over that. They have no control of that whatsoever. They have no control over whether somebody is going to raise their kid the right way. They have no control of that. And by right way, I mean giving them love, because that love piece is so big, man. And giving them a positive environment, and then helping produce them in a very positive way. Some people got parents and older people in their family that's quite frankly on dumb-ish. They got that criminal dumb-ish in their mind, or they run around smoking weed all day, setting a bad example, not living their best life. So your kid looking at you with on levels of content. They don't want to be like you. You ain't got nothing, number one, and you ain't talking about nothing. That's why I say, you may not be able to go to a community meeting or something like that, but the number one place that I think it starts for black folks, and this is just my humble opinion, okay? I'm just a dude with a little show talking ish every morning. It starts with mom and dad. It starts with who you choose to mate with, and it starts right there. And then it starts with the type of environment that you set in your house. And the Republicans and Democrats and charters and independents and the police and the FBI, they can't do nothing about that. Nobody can come into your home and make you a better parent and help produce a culture that's positive, where your kids can grow into good people. I can't do that. You can't come to my house and do that. I can't come to your house and do that. But you can be a hero or a champion for the young people in your family. And that's why I say it starts right there. You may not be able to go to the march. And again, the people in this room, I already know you're doing it anyway. But I'm just saying that's the one element in that we can't touch. The police, they can figure out where the guns are coming from, and they can arrest all the people that have a history of gun violence and are perpetrating crimes in real time, and they can respond. And in some ways, if they're placed beforehand, maybe they can sort of dissuade, but they can't come to your house and make you be a better mother. They can't come to your house and make you be a better father. I blame the men. I put a lot of the onus on the men, because you got a lot of men out there that just, they own dumb-ish, but yet they love the ussy. And they're not prepared, to really set that tone. And that fatherhood piece, man, you talking about work. You know what I'm saying? I'm all smiles and Junior and them coming here, but you don't see the work. You don't see the everyday part of it unless you are actually a parent. That ain't no game. That is not a game. It's not something you want to deal with lightly. And you definitely don't want to have a child with a woman that y'all just got a bad relationship. It's just not going to be good for the child. So the police can't touch that. The police can't do that. They can respond. We can get shot spotter, and then we can find where the guns are coming from. We can have incentives and or try to de-incentivize certain behaviors and things like that. We can put more money into mortar, which, hey, I agree with. They seem to be doing great work, and all of these business acceleration programs, which we should be doing. But you can't touch the family. The family is all on you. Family's all on you. It's all on us. Sarah writes, I would put him in the middle category just as a result of his lack of experience, but he's ready. Speaking of Evan Holt. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Let me see. Anybody else say anything? I'm just curious. He says, Sarah writes, I like Evan Holt, my man, the most progressive candidate on the trail. Okay. Jenny writes, good job, Junior. Is that right? Akeem writes, morning, Nate. Over the next 20 years, all vehicles will be electric. Buy Ford stock now. Your offspring will thank you 100%. Hashtag generational wealth. Okay. Appreciate it. I know it was people in the shop that was telling us about Bitcoin. Remember that? Yeah. And if you would listen to them and bought in, you might have a nice little pile of money right now. Naisha writes, bring more trade schools into the inner city schools too. Exactly. Because college ain't for everybody. You can still build generational wealth and take care of yourself and your family by getting a trade. In fact, you can go learn a trade and become your an entrepreneur. Work for yourself. Work for yourself. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, ain't nothing. It's all good with it. Do your own thing. It's funny because when we had the school board forums, it seems so long ago. It was like two months ago, right? I think it was back in like early August or something like that, or maybe it was early September. We had a question, or asked a question surrounded about how can we improve the graduation rate. Now, many of the candidates dodged it. They didn't really come up with a way to improve the graduation rates like head on. But what many of them said was, and it was still good flow. What many of them said was, we need more trade schools. You know what I'm saying? We need more of that. Definitely. Cincinnati will never become what we want it to be until we address the disparities and close that gap, embrace our multiracial history, and I mean fully embrace it. And the Cincinnati Public School does a better job, no matter what that means. Now, maybe that means more of a partnership with parents. I'm here for it. Let's do it. But until they start to produce, a more consistent, high performing, high thinking, high option graduate, we're never going to reach it. It's never going to happen. It's a partnership. We all in it together. And I think everybody wants that. I've never heard anybody say that live in Cincinnati who said they don't want great things for the city of Cincinnati. I've never heard anybody say that. I don't think that mentality exists. Dare writes, that's it, poverty and under-resourced schools. Okay. All right. Good morning to you. Daryl writes, maybe follow the model of the freedom schools in Philadelphia. Okay. All right. I love it. Janice writes, the proliferation of guns, i.e. the encouragement of the Second Amendment, everyone brandishing a gun under any condition will be our ultimate demise. You think so? Again, I'm with the Second Amendment here. I'm with the Second Amendment all day, every day. Got no problem with it. Don't want it to change. I'm cool with it. Right? I don't know. Maybe you're right about that. Maybe you're not. Let me jump inside the chop shop and see what's up. Ray writes, good risings all. Good morning to you, Ray. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Fox writes, rise and shine, young stars. Ray writes, I love that Captain Pettis video. It was hilarious. CG Dub writes, good morning. Good morning, Choppers. Yeah, she was hilarious in that video, man. I don't think I have the audio saved. In fact, I know I don't have the audio saved, but I can find it. It was hilarious. It was one of the funniest things. I don't care if you're recording or not. Make sure you get me loud and clear. It was hilarious. Me and Reynolds be the first ones through the door. You sitting back here, manning the phone, talking about what I'm doing. She had an excellent point, though, didn't she? Oh, okay, cool. I like that. I might go to that. I love all these things that's happening in the city. It's beautiful. Here is a very interesting, since we're talking about Cincinnati Public Schools, I see that Mary Weinberg, who is running for school board, opinion piece, schools must recruit, hire, and retain more Black teachers. Yes, in Cincinnati, 65% of the students are Black. But what's the percentage of Black teachers? Yeah, I think that's huge. In Ohio, nearly 17% of students are Black, but only 4% of teachers are Black. Only a quarter of Black teachers are men. That's definitely having an impact here in the city of Cincinnati. Now, that might be an issue they're having everywhere, but I just can't believe that the Cincinnati Public Schools can't be a part of in a historic relationship with some of these HBCUs. Like we've said it. This has come up many times before, and when I'm reading, Mary Weinberg writes about this in her piece. Quote, I believe we should reach beyond our region and send district representatives to historically Black colleges and universities. Now, people have said this on this show, so great minds think alike, right? Absolutely. And, I remember Donnie and I did a joint we did a co-host, and we talked with the former superintendent. And when I asked her about it, she was like, the recruitment, she was like, it's hard to get black people. And it might be, but there should be a second part to that response. if you have a conversation with the superintendent of Cincinnati city schools, right, the CPS, Cincinnati Public Schools, and you ask her or him, like, look, what's up with black teachers? Why are the numbers of black teachers in the public schools in Cincinnati so low? I can understand the response on the first part of the sentence being, hey, it's very difficult for a lot of different reasons, right, to attract black teachers. That's reasonable. What's unreasonable is if that's the end of the sentence. There should be 2 sentences, right, at least, right? If the first part is, hey, Nathan Ivey, citizen who's concerned about the percentage of black teachers in CPS, it's difficult. They're hard to find. The second part should be, here's what we're doing about it. Why can't CPS be set a national example by creating a maybe first of its kind pilot program with HBCUs, right? Because they're there. They're there, and you might have to sweeten the pot. I mean, Lord forbid we have a conversation about upping teacher salaries. Lord forbid we pay these men and women that are teaching our children more, or should I say what they're actually worth? Because right now I think teachers are underpaid across the board. That's just me. Underpaid for the work they do, vastly underpaid. And you telling me that there aren't people across this country that want to be paid well for what they do and also work with our students? I don't believe it. I don't believe that's not true whatsoever. So that's what Mary Weinberg is writing about here. Matter of fact, let me copy this and I'll put a link in here and you can check it out for yourself. She might be a candidate for you. There it is. You can check it out. And I'll put it on YouTube as well real quick. And then with that, we'll take a quick break. Some folks that are running for city council that want to bend your ear, but I just want to remind you that early voting is taking place right now. You can early vote right now in Hamilton County. And all you have to do is go over to 4700 Smith Road, 45212, put that into your navigation app. Maybe you rocking the Waze app, WAZE, check them out. If you have any information or if you need information or questions answered, you can call 513-632-7000. All right. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scottie Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scottie Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scottie Johnson.
Wish I could vote.
Why?
I would vote for Elizabeth Tai for judge. She has 18 years of experience as a prosecutor and defense attorney. Elizabeth Tai is strong, compassionate, and will be fair. She's someone I look up to.
Elizabeth Tai is a good choice. Vote for Elizabeth Tai for judge.
TYE, that's the judge for me.
I'm attorney Elizabeth Tai, and I'm asking for your vote for municipal court judge on November 2nd.
Paid for by the committee to elect Democrat Elizabeth Tai for municipal judge.
Former Mayor Dwight Tillery asking you to vote for my friend, Michelle Dillingham, who is a Democrat running for Cincinnati City Council. The black population in our city has declined, pushing black homeowners out while speculators purchase their houses for pennies on the dollar. Black people are being foreclosed on because of rigged housing and economic systems.
Michelle Dillingham will fight for you. This is Victoria Strawn. You know me, Sister V. City Council prefers investing in a soccer stadium and gentrifying our historic neighborhoods. Malcolm X said that if you don't own land, you're nothing but a squatter.
Come on, Michelle, talk to the people.
City Council is being sued for discriminatory tax abatement programs that unfairly enrich wealthy white neighborhoods. I know because I've been fighting for reform for years. Isn't it time to elect a candidate who will stand up for the people over special interests? Vote for me, Michelle Dillingham, Democrat for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by Dillingham for Council Committee.
Can't sleep.
It's hard to pay attention in school.
I say mean things.
I keep getting in trouble.
I bully other kids.
I'm just scared.
No one sees my pain.
Sometimes I want to die.
So many of our children are facing trauma, but instead of seeing their pain and fear, we're labeling them bad, troubled, delinquent, or criminal. Let's look beyond their behaviors. Let's get them the help they need by helping them address the trauma they're facing.
Help me feel safe.
See me for more than my behaviors.
Understand that my actions are how I communicate my fears.
For more information, visit www.ohiostateofemergency.com. That's ohiostateofemergency.com.
Why don't you get it by now? Tell me what you learned in grade school.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Let's get back into it. Coming up at 8:30 a.m., I've got a guest scheduled to come in and talk about an exciting project that's happening over in the West End area. So if you live in the West End, you might want to, or you know someone who lives in the West End, you might want to hit them with a link and say, you know, Nate's going to be talking about your neighborhood, some interesting things that are happening. Good morning to you. But again, let me flash back up because ohiostateofemergency.com. You know what's funny is that we need a paradigm shift. We need a paradigm shift. We need to shift our mentality and shift our conversation when it comes to when we talk about gun violence. Because when I think about it right now, and in no way do I mean this to be like a swipe at any of the candidates. As I told you before, the way I feel about it is I think everybody who's running for city council is doing it for the right reasons. Now, some of them might be in it because they want the prestige and the shine of being in office. I mean, I think it's a very human thing, but I think they're all doing it. I want to believe they're all doing it for the right reasons. They want to do something for the community. I'm with that. But when I asked them questions about gun violence, we got the answers that we should have gotten. But the one word that never came up, and maybe it came up one time by one candidate, and I can't even remember who that was the word trauma. The word trauma. And I think that Ronald Hummers and his team is, and I said it before, is 100% on point with trying to deal with the trauma in our communities. Because we talk about the root issues, poverty, whatever it may be, a lot of family issues or whatever, but I think we downplay just how much trauma is going on out here. And we instantly want to just jump on the criminal piece, right? Criminal. But I think, and I wonder if how many people are acting out of some type of trauma they had in their lives. So go to ohiostateofemergency.com and get more information and raise awareness and raise the word, or raise your awareness and get the word out about what they're doing out there, and see how you can be a part of it. Most definitely. Kamika writes, the HBCU recruitment needs to come from higher pay or a housing subsidy. The rent in Cincy is too high for a teacher's salary. Is that right? Teachers don't get they don't get paid what they deserve, in my opinion. They do not. Not at all. Susan's in the house. She writes, Dr. Kareem Moffat, PhD, talked about this. Did she? Okay. I'm good to hear that. I'm good. That's good to hear that those kind of energy that's on potential school board members, because I think they're right. You know, it's not enough to say, oh, it's difficult to find Black teachers. That's not enough. What we need is the next part of the sentence, which is, here's what we're going to try to do to attract it. But let's go to the phones and say good morning. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, dear brother. This is Sister calling. I just wanted to stop by your set and say to you, trauma definitely comes up in the conversation when community is leading the conversation. As a matter of fact, Dr. Victor Garcia, a trauma surgeon at Children's Hospital, spent the entire afternoon with us proposing a different way of addressing the trauma in the community so that we can interrupt the cycle of violence. It is not just gun violence that's on the rise, it's all types of violence that is on the rise that have many, many indicators and collaborators are producing it. And what we can't do is just have a one-off meeting. And what we can't do is allow the beautiful ideas and or suggestions that come from community to just lie on the ground. It is our goal and our hopes to continue to build with communities who have a stake in this and understand their role. And it's not just children that are traumatized. It is their families. It is all of our families. We live in a very traumatic world. It is traumatizing to be a Black person in America. It is extremely traumatizing to be a Black person in the city of Cincinnati. We fight every day for equity, transparency, accountability, access, housing, transportation for our children and for ourselves and for our grandchildren that are yet to come or that are here and those who are coming along. Trauma has been part of my conversations, reason for the collaborative agreement. We knew 20 years ago that the Black community was traumatized by the way that the police was treating it. And all of our ancestors before us that had been trying to fight for us and build for us understood that. So there's a lot of folk out here focusing on it. It did come up on Saturday. Dr. Garcia did send me his plan, Nathan. I will share it with you. He's asking communities to hear what he has to say. But he sees the trauma every day. He spoke about, having to operate. And he's been on the SERV board, so he's been around. He's not new to it. So I don't want folks to think he's just coming out of the woodwork. But in order to interrupt that trauma, to interrupt these very biased systems that is creating the conditions of which we live and the conditions of which our children live, is going to take all of us. It is going to take many more meetings. It's going to take many more arguments. It's going to take many more fights on many more different planes and levels to get the equity that we need before we see a difference. What we're seeing today, Nathan, you asked me the question, what did the chief say? And I hope Kevin calls in. I'm preparing for the MAG meeting now on violence and ensuring that police just don't start rounding up people. So I want us to be careful about what we say. And because I believe in our civil rights, just because you are arrested does not mean that you're guilty. We need equity in all forms of the criminal legal system so that they operate fairly and we get to the root cause of what is happening and not just out here arresting people. But the chief said that the guns were coming from multiple places and it's easier to get guns. It's easier. You can get a gun quicker than you can get affordable housing, than you can get quality education, something to eat, and quicker than you can get some love. So it's going to take a lot of us pushing them, pushing us, hearing them talk about the regional task force, the ATF, all the people that are supposed to be monitoring what's happening, where these guns are coming from and how they're making their way into our community, and what adults are giving the children the guns to do the shooting, to create the chaos and to ruin their lives. So it's a lot of work. But I'll share that plan of what Dr. Garcia proposed to us. He wants to have an additional meeting. So folks, you got to come out. You got to stay connected so you can hear, and you got to let your voice ring high if you so choose. The last thing I'll say to you, dear brother, is please, 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 choppers, make your way to that survey. Let your voice be heard in the selection of the next police chief. What you say will go into the job description. It will go into the job description, but we can't put it there. I can't present it. I can't advocate for it if you do not respond back to that very easy, quick survey. So please do that. We will be meeting at New Prospect next Thursday. I am going to reach out to Captain Pettis to see what ideas came up so we can combine them all and begin to work and build together. That's part of the problem. We work in silos, and the next thing you know, something new, shiny comes up, and attention is diverted. But there are a lot of things that are happening that we need to be participating in. The last thing I promise is tonight, CPS is having its selection criteria meeting at the Cincinnati Public Schools. We need to let our voices be heard there. Selection for the new superintendent of our schools. I've been watching, working, questioning, had the sister on Woke Wednesdays many times talking about education through the pandemic, Ms. Tiane Amat. I think she is prime and set and right for the job. I think she has entered in a time where it was a lot of conflict, a lot of issues, a lot of problems that needed to be solved. And I think she's done it in a way that shows that she can handle it. She's been around for about 10 years inside of CPS in the district. So please let your voice be heard on all levels so we can do whatever we can when we all do a little more than those of us who are out here can do a little less. All right, Nathan Ivy, talk to you soon.
All right, thanks for the call. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Tiana Ahmad. Okay, that seemed like a big endorsement from Sister Iris. Very interesting. And then there's some opportunities when you can get your voice in, like with the police chief, and with the superintendent. Right now's the time. I'm glad she brought that up as a reminder. Now's the time. Let your voice be heard. Put some insight in. She said, what did she say? She said that your input will be put into the job description. I mean, what more can you ask for? Right? And I'm going to re-grab that link from her and resend it out on the Friends page and on my page as well so people can know what's going on. And just be involved. I mean, you can sit at home and do it on your phone. That's super easy, right? I think it is. Super easy. Good morning to you. Hey, listen, if you want to share your thoughts, 513-873-7134. If you want to transform your brain waves into digital talk radio waves this morning, good morning to you. What is this? Oh, man. Oh, Rap City's already back, huh, Cass? That's dope. That's dope. Nice. Oh, he had this brother on here. I can't even pronounce his name, but dude is super fire. I like this. Hold on. Huh, I like it, man. I like it. I like the set and everything. That's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. The culture needs something like that. It's good. I wonder who's producing it, who's behind it. I don't know. See, Michelle Dillingham's in the house. She writes, yes. Oh, first, Kathy writes, good morning to you, Kathy. She writes, Nathan, have you ever read Jason Reynolds' book, Long Way Down, ? I have not. But just returned from the Ohio Library Council. Mr. Reynolds addressed the attendees. It was an incredible experience. Was it? All right. You said Jason Reynolds, huh? Keep my pad close to the microphone so I can write notes down. Long Way Down. Long Way Down. I'll check it out. Thank you. Michelle's in the house. Michelle Dillingham. She writes, yes, UC and CPS allocated funds for this. Now instead, they just give dollars to Teach for America, which only recruits people who are not interested in teaching as a profession, but as a resume builder. Is that right? So UC and CPS allocated money for what exactly? Where were we talking about at that point? Linda Matthews writes, a lot of black male teachers were released from CPS during the 90s. I remember. Janice, I just feel like you're going to feel something different and you got a black male teacher, perhaps if you're a black male. You're going to feel something different. This is something that white students in CPS take for granted. Their parents take it for granted. They don't even have to think about this. They don't have to think about how that might impact their child's ability to feel fully immersed, right, inside of the classroom. They have no thoughts on that. It is what it is. I mean, it's not a hating on them or anything, but it is what it is. Nikki writes, good point about the impact of trauma. And speaking of which, Sister Iris said she had a guest on over the weekend and was talking about that. And that's great to hear because that's a very smart direction. That's a very smart direction to push the conversation in. It's a very smart direction because I think it gets more to the root of it, right? It's much more valuable than assuming, other things. And I agree with her. Jerica's in the house. She writes, "Hola, beautiful black people," and the others too. Hey, good to see you, sis. Jerica might be mad at me right now. I hope not. Sandra writes, "Watching Trauma Everyday Challenge. Our kids are living it." Terry writes, he's an awesome physician. Is that right? Okay, great. Dr. Garcia, I'm not hip to him, but I'll circle back and check it out. Don't scare me with no information. Tamitha writes, "Seeing the trauma and doing something about it is two different subjects. What is going to be done?" You're right about that. But I think that there's a big difference, though, Tabitha, and there's a lot of value when we see it as trauma as opposed to some kind of inherent criminal proclivity, right? Or it's your mom and daddy's fault, right? Because mom and dad might be dealing with trauma as well. You know what I'm saying? So accurately diagnosing an issue, I think, is number one. It's just like if you had an issue and you go to the doctor and the doctor misdiagnoses it and then gives you a prescription, they've given you a prescription for the wrong damn thing. And I'm wondering if that's what we've done. In fact, I believe that's what we've done when it comes to dealing with violence and the issues primarily in our communities. You know, it was misdiagnosed, right? On purpose by some, but by mistake by others. Nat writes, Washington State football coach fired for refusing to take vaccine, but we know the MSM will stay focused on the black man, Kyrie, because we sell whatever. Okay. Washington State football coach. Yeah, but the difference is the Washington State Nat. See, I see you, man. I don't know why you trying to apologize for Kyrie Irving. The Washington State football coach, I don't even know his name. He's not as big of a star as Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has a platform of millions given to him, afforded to him, should I say, by his association with the NBA and just being a dynamic baller. So that's what it is. I mean, we don't even know who this Washington State footballer. I'm about to look it up right now. I have no idea who this person is. I think that some of these people that's losing their jobs over the vaccine is going to find out, oops, my bad. Like, I can't work anywhere else without getting a vaccine. Or maybe they might want to go start their own thing and start a business. I get it. Nick Rolovich, okay, was fired after refusing the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay. All right. I mean, that's his choice. That's his choice. Go right ahead, Nick Rolovich. It is what it is. That's a mixed bag right there. Because when you're a part of a team, you're asking the players to sacrifice. You're asking the other coaches to sacrifice, to do things in some cases maybe they don't want to do for the greater good of the team, but you won't take the vaccine. Okay. All right. That's on you, B. That's on you. Susan writes, "Where is the link for the survey again, please? I believe I have it on email. And so I'll search back. I might do it during the show. And if I can, then I'll share it during the show. And if not, I'll post it on Facebook afterward. Let's see here. I just saw Popeye's commercial and they have this sandwich with hottie sauce. Looked like a commercial shot for P-Valley. What the hell? Hottie sauce? I don't even know what that is. Hottie sauce? I don't know what that means. Is that like a cross promotion with the City Girls? Hot Girl Summer, Hottie Sauce Summer? I don't know. Jerome writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. What the hell? Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, good brother? This is Ronald Hummins.
Hey, what's up, Ron?
And how you feeling this morning?
I'm doing well. What's going on your mind?
So I just want to say, and I don't want to speak directly, to or about anybody, just in whole, all of these, the people that are in place, whether it be from community leaders to religious leaders, our police department, mainly the chief, and all the way, further, all the way to the top, the mayor, whoever, right? So I just wanted to say my bill, HCR 14, that they have totally rejected, literally will provide funding, right, for these issues they talking about. That everybody's still talking about. We have to figure out. We're going to meet at this church. We're going to do this. We need to talk. We have to come together. But yet there's a bill right now HCR 14, that will provide funding. And just let me give you just a little quick synopsis on what some of the funding be provided for, right? So when people start talking about trauma, most of these people that are talking, from the police department to communities to whoever, most of these people that are talking don't even really know what trauma is. They don't understand trauma, right? So they're dealing with it from a mental health standpoint, and they're dealing with it from a psychological standpoint, when trauma is more biological than it is psychological. So one of the things that my bill will provide funding for, because one thing a lot of people don't know either, that, you know, the low class insurance that a lot of us poor people have doesn't get us the proper help that we need when it comes to dealing with trauma. Like I said, mental health and childhood trauma is not the same, right? So when you start talking about, you know, really needing to get therapy, there's a therapy called EMDR. It's rapid eye movement therapy. And it's a neuroscience therapy, right, that actually heals the trauma in our body. You can't escape trauma. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure a lot of your listeners are familiar with the book. I can't think of the name of it now. But anyway, it talks about how trauma lives in our body. So the illnesses that we deal with, whether it be the irritable bowel syndromes, the migraine headaches, the chronic pain and fatigue, and all these different things that we deal with, these are things that are rooted and caused from childhood trauma that lives in our body. Like I said, childhood trauma is biological, like more than it is anything. So you can't link it into the same basket with mental health, right? So when you start talking about trying to get that type of therapy from therapists that offer the EMDR and other really high profile trauma therapy, they don't take Medicaid. They don't take the low end insurance. You know, you have to have high end insurance or pay out of pocket. So one of the things that HCR 14 will provide grants. I'm talking about a huge grant for these same therapists that treat, you know, the people out in Indian Hill and other areas of, you know, what they call their trauma issue they deal with. See, this will provide grants for them to be able to treat the people with Medicaid or people with no insurance. See, we can't keep depending on the Hamilton County mental health agency over there, because for one, some of the people that's on my board actually work there. So this is like not information that I'm like guessing. This is information I know for a fact, because they've told me they have so many clients that come through there with this county stuff, and they said that the treatment that they get is poor. They'll sit there and they'll listen, and it's not dealing with their issues, right? So let me help the people understand a little bit what trauma is from this explanation, right? So you're gonna sit up here and take your cell phone and put it to your ear, listen to it, and it does everything that you expect for it to do. But if your cell phone was to jump down and start doing a centipede, you know, and moonwalking, then all of a sudden you would think that, okay, something's strange here, right? When you start talking about our nervous system is the operating system. Our nervous system, that's something that none of them have talked about. None of them even understand. Our nervous system is the operating system. Trauma is the program. So these kids, guess what? What they're doing exactly how they're programmed to do. So like I said, with the cell phone example, they're not going to do anything different. They're going to do exactly what they understand and exactly what they're programmed to do. One of the other things that the grant is going to provide funding for is for, so trauma is an actual language. And, you know, the commercial that we're actually going to start running on your network as well, the commercial, you know, it talks about that we created to help people understand trauma. These kids are actually speaking of their behavior is a real language, just like, you know, everything from Russian to, you know, to Thai. These are languages. Trauma is a real language. And nobody's talking about that. Like, and it really blows me away, because I'm looking at all these people in these powerful positions with all of these funding, all of these huge organizations they have behind them and corporations they have behind them. And nobody's talking about this most simple stuff, right? You're not going to deal with the issue until you actually deal with the trauma in the proper way. Plain and simple. One of the other things that our funding is going to provide for is for schools that actually build what's called a safe room. Because like I said, when you understand childhood trauma, you understand how the brain works and how the brain is actually a program with the fight, flight, or flee. See, you can't escape that, right? So that's the way the brain is set up and understands only protection. But the brain is not like intellectual the way people think, to where it understands, okay, me shutting down my nervous system, me shutting this area down is protecting myself, not understanding the sicknesses and the diseases and all the issues that come out of that. The only thing the brain understands is shut down, you know, or fight or flee. right? So like I said, these kids, man, are running according to where they're supposed to, according to their program, according to their operation, and nobody's addressing that. But yet all of these powerful people seem to want to keep me in the Council Ronald Hummons list, right? While they continue on doing what they're doing, what they've been doing for years and have gotten nowhere with it. And it's like, wait a minute, how do you continue to ignore legislation? Nobody's ever done this before. This is new, what I'm doing. What they're doing, there's nothing new about it. They've been doing it, and it's gotten us nowhere. And it just like it blows me away because the story just came out and the article just came out in the Enquirer that was written by a Republican. And he's like, okay, well, what's going on? The people that actually represent the areas that are mostly impacted by childhood trauma, where are they at on this legislation? This is historic legislation. And I'm just really get tired. Like, I love listening to your show. But your show, I mean, it's just dope and it continues getting better. But I get so tired of hearing people keep getting on here talking the same thing while they try to keep me on this council culture list. And it's like, wait a minute, I actually have the answers. Like how do you counsel that? So anyway, I just want to put that out there, brother,
Ronald,
and let me know.
Before you leave, brother, people want to know, a couple questions came in about, so in the bill, what's the funding source? How do you pay for the program or the programs?
So, I mean, the funding source going to come, like I said, it's going to be, so I'm going to give an example so to help people understand it a little easier. So if a tornado rips through our community, they'll declare a state of emergency, right? When they do that, the funds that's used to fix these different areas, the communities, or whatever, the infrastructure that's been damaged, it's our federal funds that are released to fix the problem. That's the reason why my bill is called a state of emergency on childhood trauma, because the funds come from a federal grant that's already there. There's money already there to fix it. So when you understand, like I said, how state of emergencies work, there's federal funds that's already in place to fix things. And when you understand how childhood trauma has impacted us as a community more than anybody else, then yeah, we've seen the worst storms, the worst earthquakes, the worst tornadoes. We've seen the worst of it. Childhood trauma has caused the worst damage more than anything we've ever seen. It's the biggest epidemic. And like I said, there's federal funds to fix it. I mean, it's literally that. It's that simple.
All right, brother. Well,
so my website, Ohio State of Emergency. We also now have a California chapter, and the legislators out there are actually going to be voting on the bill out there. This is something else that I created. I created a team out there to basically duplicate the RH experience, the Ronald Hummons experience. They're duplicating the blueprint that I created. They're actually moving ahead a lot faster than we are here because it's a blue state. But the website, Cali State of Emergency, this thing is a real movement, and it's dealing with the biggest epidemic that we've ever had, the biggest movement this generation has ever seen that will have the greatest impact. So it's like, if you want to stop it, if you actually want to deal with this issue, and you talk about the root of it is childhood trauma. But you have to understand what childhood trauma is, first of all, and how to address it.
All right, brother. Appreciate you calling in and setting it down for us, man. I appreciate it. And of course, we're working together to get the word out here locally. So I appreciate your work, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Most definitely. That's Ron Hummons. Appreciate him calling in. Again, Ohio State of Emergency. Check it out for yourself. But as I said, I have a guest. She is backstage. I don't want to waste any more time. I know her time is very precious. And I want to welcome her to the show. Good morning, Toylan. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you could make some time for us this morning.
Thank you.
So, I've been teasing it, but you can speak way more intelligent than I can about the project that's taking place here in the West End. I know you just had an event, but I know there's a lot more work to go. But, are you from the city? I know some folks already know who you are. I'm aware of you. But are you from Cincinnati, born and raised here? So what high school did you graduate from? And then talk about this project and what you're doing.
Okay. So I am definitely a native Cincinnatian. I grew up in the West End. I lived there till I was about 12 years old. And then we moved to Evanston. So my mother is from the West End, and her entire family lived in the West End most of their lives. I still have nephews and aunts and cousins that live in the West End. And so I went to St. Ursula Academy, went to St. Joseph, mostly Catholic schools. I did get a chance to go to Douglas Elementary when we moved to Evanston. But I have always been connected with the West End. My father, Robert O'Neill, started the Art Consortium with some other individuals back in the 70s as a response to the riots that happened in the 60s. It was a program through Model Cities to rebuild Black communities after the riots, and the Art Consortium is one of those products. Also, HUD and Over the Rhine and the Access Program for senior citizens. Nowadays, it's the service that would pick up senior citizens to get them back and forth. And then kind of like the Meals on Wheels program, all that stuff came out of that Model Cities money. And so I grew up in the West End, going to the Art Consortium every day, lived there pretty much. And from the time I was born in 72 to the time the Art Consortium opened a little bit before my birth, I resided in Parktown, and we lived at the Art Consortium. It closed. When I came back from college, I worked at the Art Consortium for 11 years. And then I went back to work at my alma mater, St. Ursula Academy, as a diversity director. And I just recently have left that institution this past May to pursue bringing back the model of the Art Consortium.
Okay,
and so,
wow, I didn't know your father was so dope. I had no idea.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome. He was pretty awesome. He actually, when Trump got in, my dad was part of a lot of committees to address some of the things that he knew were going to be happening to our communities in general. He was very focused on poverty, very focused on uplifting African-American lives. And he started to work on the fact that the Art Consortium was not existing anymore, that we needed a place where Black artists could have a voice in the movement, and to raise that next generation of creatives through entrepreneurship in creative fields. And so he has started to work on that very diligently, reaching out to people, having conversations about what he felt or what he was trying to think what would be needed. And in 2018, I got married for the first time to the love of my life. My father was able to walk me down the aisle. But when I got done being married, he said, "Look, we got a lot of work to do. So I'm glad you got a good spouse, and y'all about to help make this happen." And so he was talking about rebirthing the Art Consortium. And unfortunately, he passed away in December after I got married. And from that moment, I knew that the baton had been passed. And I knew that I had to not just focus on this because he passed, but because it's needed. People forget how important artists have been part of every movement of change for a lifetime. Every civil rights movement, every activist movement, and how music, art, and culture have been able to bring communities together. And so I knew that this would be my new path. And I had to focus on making this happen. And then the perfect place, of course, was the West End. And I was able to work with the Port Authority, Arts Wave, and other organizations to look at the Regal as the home for this institution, which is perfect because I lived probably most of my days in the Regal Theater. I sat in the Regal Theater every Saturday morning watching cartoons and Black movies and karate movies, eating hot dogs and popcorn while my mother shopped at Findlay Market. And so the Regal is the last iconic space that celebrates Black community that still exists. And it's in need of repair. It's been vacant for over almost 20 something plus years. And so my task is to save the Regal as a historical landmark for the West End and also for Cincinnati, and to build this place for artists and creatives of color to have a home and have a voice and be leaders in the arts.
Wow, I love it. I think that is a great idea. So what's the vision? And so first, let me start here. Where are you in that process? So what happens next, and how can the community be involved or to help the process?
Definitely. So we are at the process where I'm still looking for some more land to expand the business model, but we have a very unique business model. We have a full nonprofit cultural arts center that will be named the Robert O'Neill Multicultural Arts Center. And then we're going to be working with a branding and marketing company that will also live in the building. It will be a for-profit. And that partnership of a nonprofit and a for-profit is going to help sustain the nonprofit to not have to raise all the money to pay the electricity and keep the lights on. And so the concept we got from a great place in Chicago called the Little Black Pearl, and they have that kind of fully functioning nonprofit organization that serves the community. It'll be a hub for people like Cincinnati Black Theater Company. It'll be a hub for people like Annie Ruth, Black Art Speaks, pretty much all the creative organizations that have existed without a home. We even have an Indian dance company that is in Mason that will be coming to our community to be part of the city. But the for-profit model helps to keep the costs a little bit more efficient because a lot of nonprofits struggle trying to raise money to pay the day-to-day, particularly if you're in a historical building. And so we thought that would be a great model. It also will bring business and entrepreneurship to the West End. It also will bring Black creatives such as graphic designers and marketing experts of color to have a space where people know where to find those individuals. And so where we are in the journey right now, we are just now able to move forward to start our capital campaign to raise our $9.5 million gap. And we definitely are going to be asking for federal money, local money. We're going to be getting new market tax credits. But we need to have the community support us to make this happen. And so we need to raise $9.5 million. And I don't feel like, I speak it with confidence because I know how our money works in the community when we are powerfully connected to something and we know we need it. And I feel like this is this is happening. And so I'm excited about that.
Wow, that sounds so interesting. So nonprofit, for-profit, working together, an actual space for creatives on all levels, whether it be designers, marketing, that kind of thing, and at the same time, maybe performance, visual arts, things like that as well, all under one building here in the city of Cincinnati. That is super dope. I love that. I love that idea. I wish you nothing but the best. So, are you taking donations from the public right now? If so, where is the website and where can I push people?
Yeah, so the website is theromac.org, and I can type that out for you too, theromac.org. And we actually have our website launched this weekend. And so you can go on it now. It just has a nice page saying we're coming. We're kind of doing everything in phases. You can also donate through Cash App, $O'Neill 2424. We're doing PayPal, and it's just our email, theromac@gmail.com. So there's several ways to connect with us through donations. You can reach out to me. I'm on social media. My number is 513-582-5439. So you can call me. So yeah, we're taking whatever support and resources. We need money. We need people. And we also need people to vote for leaders that believe in Black empowerment and community. And so one of the things that I've been really advocating is that we have an election coming up. Think about the leaders that you vote for that will make things like this happen in neighborhoods that need it, and also neighborhoods that have people of color in it. And so all that stuff is important as we move forward with this this campaign of raising this money and also building this institution.
Do you have a timeline? Like when do you want to be open for the public?
We are set to be open and fully operating in 2024, but the hopes is that we'll do our groundbreaking next year and that we will start construction on the Regal and then hopefully have additional land to finish the business model. So we're going to do it in phases.
Okay. And will you be expanding upon the existing structure to create more spaces, or is everything going to be self-contained, but also updated and remodel inside the existing structure of the Regal Theater?
Based on the landscape, it may end up being more than one building, and they might just be close to each other versus right connected to the Regal. Again, that historical piece for the Regal is super important to me to make sure that it is a historical landmark and that it keeps some of its integrity. But the building is completely gutted. And so the interesting thing about that, the good thing about that is that there's not a lot inside to preserve. It's really the exterior and the look.
Okay.
Which is exciting because when you have to worry about all that stuff inside, that gets a little intricate on how you build it out. So
So there's I'm just curious because I grew up going to the Regal. I used to live in those projects for a short time over on across the street there in Lynn Street. Saw my first movies there. So I can still remember walking in. They had the concessions. You walk into the theater. You're saying all of that is gutted. None of what I'm just curious. What is in the inside?
What's awesome, the stage is in pretty good, the stage is still in good space, and it has this awesome fly space, which for us artsy people, a fly space on a stage is like life because you can do scene changes, digital stuff. So it has this orchestra pit. I mean, it still kind of has that. It just doesn't have the seats. The balcony is still in good condition. I mean, the building was super back then, they made stuff well. So it was very well made. But it does not have, when I went there, they had 3 theaters. So I don't know when you went there, but they had 3 theaters. They don't have any of that structure in place. But our hopes is to, we're going to have some terrace floors, hopefully, where we can have it to be a banquet space. It can be a theater. It can be a dinner theater. We can have large exhibitions in that space. People can rent that space. And so the hopes is to keep, like I said, the integrity of some of the decorum in the history of the building, but to be able to use it for multi-purposes.
Okay. Well, Torlin, I appreciate your time. I think this is super exciting for the city, for Black creatives, for the West End, perhaps even for you as well. I think it's a super great idea. And, as things are happening, you're having more events, let's stay in touch and maybe we can help put the word out there to help push what you're doing.
I would love that. Thank you for allowing me to be here this morning with you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That's Toylin O'Neill. And that sounds like such a dope project. Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting for the city. I keep saying it. I'm going to say this again. Cincinnati is on the come up. When people come from out of town and come to Cincinnati, they love it here. They love it. And I know that we're jaded and we got a whole lot of work to do, and rightly so. But I think that we can't forget that there's a lot of good people that are 100% focused on changing, moving forward, creating more opportunities. I keep telling you, man, 15 years Cincinnati around gonna be mess around, be a hub for Black folks. Watch. You got all the seeds right now. All the seeds have been planted. Some are being planted right now. I guarantee you, mark my words, 15, 20 years from now, Cincinnati is going to be looked upon as a hub for Black creatives across the country. No doubt about it. And what she's doing, I mean, I think it fits perfectly into that. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Toylan, for your time this morning, for sure. I want to make sure that we're relevant to what's happening in the city of Cincinnati. And it's a lot of smart, intelligent, well-connected people in the audience. And, you know, be a part. If you want to be a part of what she's doing, be a part. Be a part of it. Again, here is the website. I'm excited. I mean, as she was talking, I could see it. And then even that unique business model, I thought, teach us, sis, teach us. Right. That makes a good much sense. So I think it's exciting. And I think that I wish her the best. Hope she's successful. I'm telling you, a lot of stuff is happening. You got the folks over at Mortar doing excellent work on multiple levels. I think in 10, 15 years, all that hard work is just going to it's just going to hit. And people going to look around and be like, is this Cincinnati? Watch. Keep watching for it. Good morning to you. Michelle writes, if we can find millions for the soccer stadium, we should be able to find money for this project. Awesome. And I love her confidence. She's like, I'm just going to speak it into it. We're going to make this. You can't just speak it into existence now. You can say anything. You got to put the work behind it. But I don't know Toylan like that. I am familiar with her husband. Smart, intelligent Black people. I'm sure they're going to figure it out. And it seems like they've already built the connections to make it happen. So I wish them the best, man. I wish the best for the people in Over the Rhine. Y'all deserve the best in Over the Rhine. You deserve the best. You deserve as much love and as opportunities so you can live your best lives as anybody else in any other neighborhood. And that's a good location down there. So what do you think? 5-1. I know many people here already know Toylan and you're hip to Roma and what they're doing. You might even have attended, the event they had last weekend. I wasn't able to. Sarah writes, I remember seeing Superfly at the Regal. Again, I could see her vision. I could see it. I think it's going to be super, super nice and an asset for the city. And it's going to be one more thing that is going to make Cincinnati distinctive. Like I said, as a Black community, we got nowhere to go but up. We got nowhere to go but up. So let's rise. Let's rise together and build something beautiful, working with Black Art Speaks and all the different organizations, man. So like I said, it's a lot of good people, a lot of smart people that are focused on the goal and focused on building something beautiful in the city of Cincinnati. And I'm here for all of it. You saw a car wash? I think I saw a car wash there. Maybe I did. Back then, my uncle used to take me to the movies. He'd see all the rated R movies. It was no big deal. You know what I'm saying? Nobody thought about anything of it or didn't think too much of it. Crystal's in the house. She writes good morning. Good morning to you. All great people. Sandra writes, I pray it happens before that. I'll be 75, 80 years old. Well, I mean, that's her timeline. I'm sure it sounds like smart, intelligent people have put together a business plan and are sort of foreseeing it. But, whenever it happens, like I said, I'm here for it. And I'll stay connected with Toyland and do whatever little small thing I can to let people, our audience, know about it. Like I said, anybody that's doing something positive for us, I'm with it. I'm with it every day, all day. And I love this energy that people are putting into the Black arts. I love it. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why shouldn't they? Makes sense to me. And like I said, we're going to mess around and be something. We're going to mess around and be something in about 10 years, 15 years. We're going to mess around and build something beautiful in this city. And it's great to be a part of it on some small levels. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Nate. Kev on the cell.
What up, Kev? Good morning to you, brother. Hey, listen, in my bed, I know you reached out and I've yet to connect with you, but I certainly will this week if you have the time.
No problem. It's okay, bro. I know you're busy. Everybody is. That's kind of why I'm calling. Well, two reasons. Number one, the Kung Fu movies at the Regal. Unfortunately, I ate them dollar hot dogs. Or maybe fortunately, I don't know. And because for $1 you get a hot dog, a drink, and some popcorn. Man, you can't beat that with a stick. And then you can stay as long as you want. I think I was in there for 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 hours. So I got my black belt from Fairfield Taekwondo, but I already had those advanced skills, bro. Watching them flicks. But so everybody can't be at the table, and I think we all understand that everybody can't be in the room at the same time. But now we have all of these advanced communication techniques, devices, right? And so we need to really coordinate. Sister Iris had a great meeting. There were great people in the room, and so there was a sharing of ideas there. But again, the more information, the more data points, the better we are. You keep saying this vision of Cincinnati going forward, but trust and believe that if we don't say anything, we'll have a vision provided to us. I've said this before. I was in a meeting with Ty Portune, and a bunch of people kept saying what they want to do for Roseline, what they want to do. I said, man, the problem is y'all think you're doing things for us, and we feel like you're doing things to us. So we got to make sure that our voice is being heard truly. So, there's this, I mean, I almost feel like, Nate, I got to tell the truth. We should have had to beg you to tell you, it's every day, well, not every day, but it's many days I tune in to this show, and I hear folks complaining about, the police systems and everything else. If Sister Iris is not getting that feedback, the same feedback that you're giving over these airwaves, then there's a disconnect, and we need to make sure that hole gets plugged. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, I don't know how to implore people more to really get engaged, and I know the people on these airwaves right now, they are engaged. So my thing to the folks on here, well, first off, if Sister Iris still is not getting feedback, then we need to make sure that these good ideas, or even bad ideas, right? When I do project management, we say you put it all on the board. It don't matter if it's the dumbest idea in the world. Put it on the board. You know, if it's way too expensive, put it on the board, and we can figure all of that stuff out later. But when you're brainstorming, you know what I mean? You want to get all the ideas on the board. So if you have an idea on how we make this city into that vision Nate's talking about, man, get it to somebody. Attend the meeting virtually or send somebody an email, you know, DM me, email me, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? We just need to make sure that we get all the ideas in the table. And to me, there is no bad ideas. There's some that can't be managed or some that might have to be, like the young lady just said, you know, built into a program in scope where it has to be built out over time. But we can do what we need to do, but we need to know what we need to do, you know what I'm saying, to move forward. I'm trying not to do a soapbox. I know it is one, and I apologize, but like, I'm praying that people hear the passion, because this ain't got nothing to do with me, right? This has everything to do with us. This has everything to do with us. It has nothing to do with Kevin. It has everything to do with us and how we collectively can move our community forward so that we're not having this same I'm tired of this conversation, bro. We should be on by now we're working on our 4th generation of wealth, and how do we expand the growth that we've already seen? That's where we should be. You know what I'm saying? My auntie was a Black Panther in London in 1965, was part of a historic case there. And that's kind of where I get this stuff from. But that was 1960. We're in another millennium, and we still having the same problems. It don't make sense, and we got to do something about it. We got to start talking so much, including me, and we got to start doing something. Because I'm tired of Black children being killed, and then us, honestly, being sin about it without there being any real results. And so they're still being killed, whether they're killing each other or the police is killing them or whoever's killing them. We got to watch out for our babies. That's job one, period. So I'm going to get off here, man. But I appreciate everybody. Be blessed and stay safe.
Okay, Kev, appreciate you, brother. I had myself on mute. You know, I got to do that at least once. I'm trying to do it once every other show now, get a little better with it. But I didn't know Kev's family name was Black Panther. Oh, that does explain. That's what he said is where the passion comes from, man. Beautiful, man. Like I said, you never judge a book by its cover. You don't know whose people's background is. That's why I respect everybody. I got respect for every man and woman I come into. Now, you can lose it, but I never judge a book by its cover. Never, ever, never will. Crystal writes, the last movie I remember at the Regal, I think, was JoJo Dancer. Them hot dogs was fire. Yes, they were. That was back when it was probably all beef hot dogs and better quality. Yeah. Now you got to pay extra for them kind of things. Jericho writes, Kev cracks himself up. He does. That's good. If you can't laugh at yourself, then, hey, you're too serious, man. I laugh at myself all the time. Mila says you can't hear her. Yeah, I haven't figured that out. I have to figure that out, Mila. You got to jump over to YouTube and Facebook. But what I'll do is I'll update it so the people that hear it afterward will. That doesn't help you if you're live, but I am aware of that. I don't think there's any way around it, quite honestly. Tiffany writes, the only movie I recall seeing is The Shining. My mom, no, we were too damn young to see that movie, right? Yeah, my mother sent me to go see, she went to go see Trading Places. And I believe we were there. We were either there or at Bond Hill, but I think we were at the Regal. I'm not sure when the Regal shut down, but me and Jamie Lee Curtis had a thing ever since then. I'm like, okay, Jamie Lee. Me and Jamie Lee. All right, let's take another call before we break at the top of the hour. I think we got Brother Drop calling in. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. Man, I thought you was gonna skip the break because of that great call by Kev on the Cell. That was a good call, Kev on the Cell. I've always appreciated his passion because it's obvious when he calls, he's got it, and it's a good thing when you are directly involved in your community. But Mr. Ivy, you heard Kev say that he gets tired of having the same discussion over and over and over. Now, I'm a little bit older than Kev, and I've been hearing it too. And as of recently, the Democrat Party they think they figured out a way to stop the complacency within their voters. And this is a headline from townhall.com. Schumer schedules vote on controversial voting legislation. Now, the legislation that he's talking about doing is a revised voting measure that the Democrats tried to pass before as part of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Now, what this is, Mr. Ivey, it's called the Freedom to Vote Act, which was introduced last month and is the product of months of negotiations between senators, including Rules Committee Chairwoman Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota, former presidential candidate, and that man again, Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia. The sweeping measure would require at least 15 consecutive days of early voting in every state, mandate same-day registration at all polling sites by 2024, and make permanent, this is the kicker, to make permanent the mail-in voting that was introduced in 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic struck. That's it, Mr. Ivey. That's the plan that the Democrats are hoping to resolve the issue of complacency within their voters. Because I think one of the last elections, they only had like 14%, 40% turnout, or some abysmal number. And out here in California, when they had the recall, because they have the mail-in system that the Democrats are trying to make national. The state of California already does it. The state of Nevada, they already do it. And they did it for the election in 2020. So now, because of what happened in those states that were challenged, in Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, all those states employed the mail-in voting because of COVID, but it wasn't done through the state legislators like they did in California and Nevada. So maybe this is the solution, Mr. Ivey, that the Democrats think this is their way to control elections. Because when you have universal mail-in, there's no voter suppression because everybody that's registered to vote gets a ballot. So there's no voter suppression because all you got to do is mail the ballot in. And they have many different ways to accomplish that. So I just wanted to put that out there, Mr. Ivey. So this bill goes on the floor, I think, this week. And everybody's waiting to see why Chuck Schumer chose to put this out right now when they're still debating over infrastructure. So I think what it is, Mr. Ivey, the Democrats see that their opportunity to pass meaningful legislation that's going to help them maintain their power throughout the country is with mail-in balloting and other techniques that are used once you have a 100% mail-in ballot voting. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it happens all the time, Mr. Ivey. All these great ideas, all this great legislation that these politicians have, but if you don't get the voters to turn out to vote, then it's all for naught. So again, great show today, Mr. Ivey. Keep doing what you're doing. But that article is on townhall.com, and you can also find it on the Black Not Democrat Twitter feed. There's a link there. But the Democrats are desperate, Mr. Ivey. They think their way to maintain power in Washington forever, ever, is with mail-in balloting. So let's see if they're going to be able to pass this legislation. I don't know, but we're going to have to wait and see. So that's all I got. Maybe somebody can fact check it. I can't look at you right now. Maybe you're checking it out, but they're hoping that this is their way to never lose an election. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
Appreciate the call. That's Drop. You know, he don't say nothing when the Republicans be playing with elections and the stuff they did in Atlanta to try to tip the scales toward the Republican governor. How are you the Republican governor and also basically in charge of the elections at the same time? That might be self-serving, but he wants to focus on the Democrats. But we got you, bro. Thank you so much. Something nobody was thinking of. We won't think about that at all. Hold on, here's Glenn calling in. Hey, good morning, Glenn. Welcome.
It only takes a little bit of white brainwash to activate the coon chip.
It only takes a little
What's
bit
going on,
of
Nate?
white brainwash to activate the coon chip.
I'm doing great, brother. Welcome.
That's why he's the coon chip chief. I mean, basically, your argument is that Democrats want more people to vote, and the truth is, Republicans are scared that if more people vote, just common folks, that Republicans won't get any seats in Congress, and that you're a shrinking party, Drop.
Right.
That's the truth. I mean, you literally just called in, and again, you're calling in the chop shop, Drop. Like, we don't know what's going on in Texas. We don't know what's going on in Arizona with what, Operation Ninja and the recounts and the audits. And then the states that you talk about, Drop, those were actually Republican legislatures in Georgia and in Arizona that ratified their own vote. We remember, what's his name, Nate Raffensperger. Remember when Trump called him and said, if you could just find 11,780 votes. That's worse than the Ukraine call. And what's the DA down there, Fannie Willis? She's like Letitia James of the South. She's on top of him. And then he just had to give a deposition yesterday about his bodyguards beating up protesters in front of Trump Hotel. Did you see the video of that, Nate? They got him on tape.
I didn't.
Yeah. So now, and of course, they're saying, well, you get Donald Trump on tape, on the stand with his right hand up, swearing not to lie. You know he's gonna lie. Hell, he probably lied about his damn name. Supposed to be Donald J. Trump. He probably said Donald T. Trump. Some stupid shit. Yeah, but again, Drop, this is one of your worst calls, bro. You basically made the argument that, well, Democrats want more people to vote, and there's something wrong with that. And see, this is the thing. Actually, what they found out during the voting during a pandemic, Drop, is that if you actually give people the access to vote, they will use it. They will use it where they don't have to stand in line for 4 and 5 hours in certain districts. And we know that happens, Nate. Am I lying or flying? You know, it doesn't happen out here. I mean, hell, I voted out here in Lebanon at the courthouse. I think I was in line maybe 45 minutes. Hell, that's the picture that I have for my show. That's me standing in line with my mask on. So, yes, the argument that, Democrats want to help more people vote, that's not a solid argument for the Republicans, because we all can look back. Well, Republicans don't want people to vote, and more specifically, Black and brown people. Oh, and by the way, keep pushing a whole banning of abortion. That's only going to do what? Ignite the most reliable group of voters out there, women. And the reason why the women's vote is so powerful, Nate, is because women talk about kitchen table issues that are actually about kitchen table issues. They don't give a damn about you dropping science or dropping that bullshit if they can't get child care. When they have to stay home because of the pandemic, and we all know that service industries are full of women. And those 2 million women are still out of jobs, Drop, because guess what? The pandemic's going on. Then this fool had what he called the other day, talking about we shouldn't make COVID political. It became political when dude was talking about UV lights and Lysol injections. Remember that, Nate? This is the same guy that told Bob Woodward that, yeah, that COVID, it's a killer. But, I don't want to panic the American people. He knew it was a killer. By that time, 50,000 people already had died. 50,000 people. Remember when they had like 249 people on some cruise ship, and he talked about, I wonder if we're going to let them on land because it might mess up our numbers. It's the same guy that went down to Puerto Rico and he was shooting paper shots of bounty at people like he's shooting a jumper with a follow through.
Right. I remember that.
Remember that shit?
I do.
Come on, Drop. The man gets the COVID vaccine, gets vaccinated, and what's the first thing he does, Nate? He invites all of Black MAGA to the damn. Remember, he invited them to the White House. Very first event. Candace Owens, remember he had people shipped in. Drop was calling in like, he was dropping flyers off, at a Get Lit party. Let me get out here. R.I.P. Herman Cain, Petty Peace. I'm out.
Appreciate the call, man. He is nuts, man. He just went off. And I'm here for all of it. Too much fun. No one man should have this much fun. I'm telling you, it should be illegal to have this much fun every single morning. Good morning to you. I want to remind you that early voting is taking place right now in Hamilton County. You can vote over at the Hamilton County Board of Elections. I say get it over with early. Get it over with early. Get your vote in. Let these folks know how you feel about the world and who you're going to vote for city council, for school board. You've got ballot issues, which I'll talk about this week and kind of break it down from you so you know what it is that you're voting for. And I'll give you some strong opinions about it. And also the mayor, who's going to lead us. With that, we'll take a quick break and come right back. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. This is the Nathan Ivey Show.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scottie Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scottie Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scottie Johnson.
I'm former Mayor Dwight Tillery asking you to vote for my friend, Michelle Dillingham, who is a Democrat running for Cincinnati City Council. The black population in our city has declined, pushing black homeowners out while speculators purchase their houses for pennies on the dollar. Black people are being foreclosed on because of rigged housing and economic systems.
Michelle Dillingham will fight for you. This is Victoria Strong. You know me, Sister V. City Council prefers investing in a soccer stadium and gentrifying our historic neighborhoods. Malcolm X said that if you don't own land, you're nothing but a squatter.
Come on, Michelle, talk to the people.
City Council is being sued for discriminatory tax abatement programs that unfairly enrich wealthy white neighborhoods. I know because I've been fighting for reform for years. Isn't it time to elect a candidate who will stand up for the people over special interests? Vote for me, Michelle Dillingham, Democrat for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by Dillingham for Council Committee.
This is Hamilton County Commissioner Alicia Reese, and I've been busy fighting hard for the citizens of our county. But today I'm asking you to vote for my friend, Democrat Elizabeth Tye, for municipal court judge. Elizabeth Tye and her family stood with me in a tough election. Now I'm asking you to stand with Elizabeth Tye for judge. She's from our community, and she's qualified. Elizabeth Tye grew up in Kennedy Heights and graduated from Central State University. Elizabeth Tye has been a prosecutor, a public defender, and has built a law practice from the bottom up. There is currently only one black woman on the municipal court. It's time to send another one. Join me in voting for my sister, Elizabeth Tye, for judge. Meet me at the polls.
This is Elizabeth Tye, and there is only one judicial race, and I need you to vote Tye for judge. Let's send a clear message that hard work and experience matters. Go vote Tye for judge today.
Paid for by the committee to elect Democrat Elizabeth Tye for municipal judge.
Can't sleep.
It's hard to pay attention in school.
I say mean things.
I keep getting in trouble.
I bully other kids.
I'm just scared.
No one sees my pain.
Sometimes I want to die.
So many of our children are facing trauma, but instead of seeing their pain and fear, we're labeling them bad, troubled, delinquent, or criminal. Let's look beyond their behaviors. Let's get them the help they need by helping them address the trauma they're facing.
Help me feel safe.
See me for more than my behaviors.
Understand that my actions are how I communicate my fears.
For more information, visit www.ohiostateofemergency.com. That's ohiostateofemergency.com.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nathan Ivey with you. I to the V to the straight bar E. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, we talked about a lot already, it seems like. What do you think about what they're doing with ROMAC, with the Robert O'Neill Multicultural Arts Center, and transforming that? I love the vision of it. I think that there's a lesson in that. Think big. Think big. Sarah writes, where is the mayoral forum going to be held at, Nate, and at what time? I can't remember what time, but it's going to be held at the 5 Points over in Walnut Hills. You got the African American Chamber, you got the Young Black Professionals, you got the folks over at Cincy Nice who are behind. Like I said, I mean, I'm aware of a lot of things that people are doing in the city, and I see all these different forces. Sometimes they're working together, but they're all working in the same direction. And in about 10, 15 years, Cincinnati, we're going to mess around and build something beautiful here. No doubt about it. I have no doubts. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, and good morning. Mika writes, Nat writes, any difference between Liz Ty and Dante Johnson? Well, I hope to have Liz on this week, actually, and you can hear from herself. She can talk for herself. You can ask her any questions that she can actually answer as a judicial candidate. Akeem writes, definitely paying attention to who may be the chief of police. Cincinnati definitely doesn't need a striker 2.0. Absolutely. Drop writes, you are listening to a black man suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Is that right? Sarah writes, Glenn has a great memory. Yeah. Habessa King writes, host is a 10. Okay, appreciate that. Daryl writes, not sure. I want my salad eaten by an FBA man. Is that right? Is that no salads eaten over here? Let me see. This is the wifey. That's about it. Did I do that? Glenn from Mason triggered. Greg writes, I missed it. Who was beating protesters in front of a Trump property? Trump security? Kush writes, love it. Let me see. Rachel writes, drop is twisting information as usual. Mail-in voting was never an issue until Trumpsters got mad. He lost the election. I don't know. Drop already knows there's smart, intelligent people in this room. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. We're never going out like that. Letty's in the house. Good morning to you, Letty, and happy belated birthday. She writes, hey, Nathan Ivy, I attended the event that Toyland O'Neill Turner had. It was wonderful. I took 3 of my grandsons to expose them to arts. I've known Toyland's father, Mr. O'Neill, since she was a little girl. He was one of the most humble men I had ever met. He was kind, pleasant to talk to, and was very much in tune to his work. He stayed involved in the community with his art. I loved his work, and I learned to engage in art because of him. I'll be supporting the ROMAC. Mr. Robert O'Neill deserved this honor, so I hope the community will get involved. I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen because it's a very sometimes I think timing, and then right now with the efforts of the folks behind Black Art Speaks, Landis Powell and others, there's a real big push here to invest in the arts for a lot of reasons, and you got a lot of folks out there who have been talking good game about the Black community, and I think arts is a safe space for them to invest in. And plus, it just makes sense. Plus, is in the West End, and it's the West End is getting so much attention. To me, this would be a great addition. I wonder if FC Cincinnati might not get involved and help with that project. And I think that's exactly the kind of thing that the port and a lot of folks are saying they want to be done. They want to see major projects that can benefit the community with some of these spaces that have been ignored. And the Regal Theater has been ignored for a long time. And again, I don't know every detail of her business plan, but what she shared with us this morning, it sounds like it sounds tight to me. I can see the vision of it. So, and I think people can get some usefulness out of it. So I think it'll work. I think she'll get the funding, and I think the vision will be brought to fruition. That's what I think. Let me see. Good morning to you. Good morning, and good morning, good morning. Good morning. If you're just tuning in, believe me, I'm glad you're here. Go back and check the Cincinnati NAACP political forums for both candidates and Republican incumbent who actually said that there were no racial disparities in sentencing. Right. Yeah, I remember that dumbish. No racial disparities. Good morning to you. Let me jump inside the original Chop Shop. I see Ray, Mila, Fox. Good morning to everybody. If you're on Tune In, good morning to you. If you're on Spreaker, good morning to you. You may not be inside the chat room. Whatever the case may be, good morning to you. You got me for about another 10 minutes or so. So let me kind of give you some news that is just really just news here. Of course, this is the first week for the Ahmaud Arbery trial, or shall I say the trial of the three white individuals, George McMichael and his son Travis, and a man named William Bryan, who were accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery. Remember this? It's one of the things that make you fearful as a black person in America, because he was just jogging down the street and he was accused, or allegedly they thought that he had stolen something. It wasn't even theirs. Now, if I see somebody running from my neighbor's house, I'm going to call the police. I'm not chasing down somebody that's running from my neighbor's house. Hell, if I come to my home and I see somebody running from the backyard, and it happened to me in the home I'm in right now, I'm not chasing them down the street for no trinkets. That's why we have insurance. I'm going to replace it with a brand new one. And I'll be inconvenient for a little while, but I'm not about to run down somebody over no trinkets. It's just not serious. Now, if you've done some great bodily harm or you've abducted somebody, I'm going straight Jason Statham on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Until I find you, but it is what it is. But so I just don't understand the mentality of three neighbors who think he did something not at their property, running this man down. It was like a scene from a damn from the past, and the not too distant past. They really had a pickup truck, shot this man in the side of with a shotgun as he's running away. And then when they get all in their feelings about it, don't forget that the white female district attorney in this case is facing charges because she wasn't doing her job. She was showing favoritism to George McMichael because he used to be an investigator in her office. Small town, right? There's about 1,000, down in Brunswick, Georgia. And so the jury is going to be selected, and these men are going to be held on trial, and hopefully they'll be held responsible for their crimes. They need to put these mofos under the jail, in my opinion, for what they did to this black man. And I remember seeing a video. Remember, you had Candace Owens and other people, Jason Whitlis, out here talking about he shouldn't have committed a crime. Listen, even if he did rob, what was it? It was a site where they were working on a home. Even if he did rob them, you telling me that death on the side of the road is the punishment? I mean, hell, if you get the death penalty in many states, you got to go through 10, 15, 20 years of appeals. They ran this man down. He was defenseless. He was no threat to them. They outnumbered him. They outgunned him, and they shot him on the side with a shotgun. For what reason? I hope they take the stand so we can hear what they have to say. Now, his mother was on with BNC and her lawyer. That's the Black News Channel. Loving what they're doing. And she talked about, her belief that she wants justice for her son. This incident happened way back in 2020, February 2020. It was right before we went into quarantine. It was February 23rd. He was out going for a jog, and they followed this man and ran him down. What I would hope is that the brothers in lockup get their hands on these racists and show them what's really up behind closed doors when the bars are shut. You can't get away. That's really what they deserve. But we'll see what they actually get. Now, these are not police officers, although one of the gentlemen, or one of the men, Gregory McMichael, he worked with the prosecutor's office. So maybe a judge the jury will be sympathetic to him because he was just doing his job. And they told police that they followed him and fired the fatal shots because they said that he resembled a suspect of a string of break-ins. And like I said, I'm that dude on my block. I had to pick it up from the mantle from the older dude that lived across the street. He was a dog too, man. He had cancer and slowly withered away. I loved him. He took care of his lawn. And he fought against dope dealers on the block. He went face to face. I used to love it. He passed away. His people and them, his granddaughter and them, I believe, have moved in. But if I saw somebody walking out of their house with something, I'm gonna call the police. I'm like, you know what, something strange just happened. You might want to send a rollie, just letting you know. But I'm not chasing them down. It ain't that serious. I'm not chasing them down. But they had that let's go get a N-word, thinking that because he's a black, it's like just think about the mentality while they're going through the process. Like logically, where did they think this was gonna end? You chasing this man down with a weapon in your hand with a shotgun. You think he's just gonna stop and put his hands up? Like I said, I wish that Ahmaud Arbery had something on him that day and could have defended himself properly, and maybe he'd be alive today. But it is what it is. It is what it is. People do the craziest things these days. They do the craziest things these days. Oh, okay. Okay. I see the NAACP has put up the link. Yes, your boy is gonna get what's it? The Inspiring Innovator Award from the NAACP. Looking forward to it. Should be a good time. But again, it's all in support of the community. I appreciate the love from the NAACP. I'm looking forward to the event because we like to get dressed up and go someplace, because we marry folks with a 6-year-old, so we don't get a chance to go out. And then to go out and then recognize the other honorees and folks like that, it's going to be super dope. I'm looking forward to it. And again, I'll say any small little part that I can play in pushing our agendas and our issues and what we're doing, I'm with it 100%. So thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. And looking forward to it. You should be in the room. You should be in the room, choppers. Get that ticket, be in the room. When I stand up there, you know what I'm saying? You hit me with some claps. That'll feel great. But either way, I'm going to have a good time. Dale writes, I hope you're right about the future of Cincinnati, Nate. I would love for my hometown to progress. It is going to progress. No doubt about it. I'm here to tell you right now, in 10 or 15 years, Cincinnati, we're going to be like, not almost, but kind of like that mini Atlanta north of the river. Watch. At least we have that potential. That's what I'm seeing right now because I see all these seeds are being planted. All these great seeds are being planted. You got all these people that are just working and working toward a better Cincinnati in general, but for Black Cincinnati and specifically as well. I have no doubt about it, actually. TC writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. We see Janice writes, during the young man's jog, he looked into a vacant house. Those white men took it among themselves to run after him, right? Like, what did the brother actually do that was wrong? You know what I'm saying? What did the brother actually do that was wrong? Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing. He just minded his own damn business, and they ran down on him because they figured he could get away with it. That's it. They figured, ain't nobody's going to care. I don't know how they thought it was going to end. Like, you chase this man down with a weapon. Why? My question is, why'd you fire the fatal shot? They shot him in the side. Why? It's probably going to be something like, we thought he had a weapon. You're going to try to use the excuses that you hear from law enforcement that sometimes law enforcement gets away with. That's what it's going to be. But listen, folks, that is my time. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great, excellent rest of your day. I'll be back and hopefully better than ever tomorrow morning. We'll chop it up on people, politics, and pleasure. Midweek juice tomorrow at 1 p.m. Ask Ashley is planning to be back. She got another juicy question that came in from a reader. And you can also check her out with the Cincinnati Herald. She does a weekly column with them. And it's from what she's telling me, she's gaining traction with it, and I'm not surprised. So have an excellent rest of your day, family. I'm going to leave this up here just a little bit, just to remind everybody that you can early vote right now. You can get that vote in real early. All right, you'll hear a word from a candidate, and then we'll play the outro. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. Until next time, remember our motto: winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, And I'm out.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scottie Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scottie Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scottie Johnson.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my tell them it's nothing. In the discussion, for the feelings I throw on my pen on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, show mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride, cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet.